Good morning, buenos dias, buonasera. Welcome to Life Lessons Straight Up with a Twist. I'm your host, Charity Youngblood, and I am so extremely grateful and appreciative that you are here with me today. This unedited podcast is all about asking the right questions to learn the lessons for the season we are currently in, aka this present moment. So, as every podcast always begins, we're going to start with a question. And the question for today's focus, or should I say the first question to focus on today is, who am I struggling to be? Who am I struggling to be? So whether these questions that come up during the next few minutes, if you want to journal them, actually write them down. If you want to ask yourself, record yourself on video, record yourself on your phone, whatever process you go through, draw, right? Whatever process you go through to actually reflect, right? Your introspection process, your self-reflection process. Definitely do what works best for you. But that is the first question. Who am I struggling to be? So the way that this question has set into my current season right now is I am struggling to be the person who records and releases content on a weekly basis. So I am straight down the middle, 50% creative, 50% analytical. And I'm the type of creative that when the creative juices are going, they're going. And when they're not, they're not. So that being said, I am still really struggling with committing to something that I really feel in my spirit I'm being called to do. Does anybody feel like they've been called? Maybe you've had that feeling where I feel like I'm doing something that is just so natural to me. Like whatever the project is, whatever the personal passion, interest, hobby, whatever it is, it just flows. You're so connected to spirit, to source energy, to God, to the universe, whatever resonates with you, but it is just so natural. And for me, that's how I know that it's not my mind, it's not my body, it's something that is really feeling like I've been called to do. And for me, the whole reason that I started this podcast was because I live, eat, breathe, the self-improvement, personal growth, personal transformation work, right? Everything I read, everything I do, it's just, I'm engulfed in this life. And I really felt like there was kind of like the mainstream narratives, and then there was this alternative narrative. And the alternative narrative that I bring to the table and my perspective is just very different. So for me to put these questions out there and to provide this perspective really fills up my contribution cup. So for me, there's kind of three pillars or three cups, if you will, to our purpose. No matter who you are, our purpose is to learn, to grow, and to contribute, right? Everyone's contribution pillar is very different. We all have different ways that we contribute to our society, to our community, to wherever we show up in our lives and in the world. And so my contributions, I know what those are, but even when I'm living in it, I know I'm helping people, I know I'm encouraging, I know that I'm flowing in this way and gifting and contributing, but I'm like, I don't really feel like doing that right now. Am I the only one? Have you ever felt like that? You have this project, whether it's to create content. Maybe you're thinking of writing a blog. Maybe you are blogging. Maybe you're, getting invited to speak, or there's an event that you want to speak at, and you're so passionate about it, right? You're like, yes, this is exactly, I found my people, right? And then next week you're like, I'm not really feeling that. So if that resonates with you, one of the things that has actually helped me was I actually am a part of a few groups One of them is a peer coaching circle. So today, and so I'm part of a few groups. Like I said, I have my WISE Council members. That's like my main, So if you don't have a WISE Council, again, you'll hear me say that probably every episode. You need it. You need people who are on this personal transformation journey, who understand the power of your mind, who understand what perspective shifts need to happen, and what goes into cultivating a sense of self-awareness, a sense of, cultivating and facilitating self-discovery, etc. You need people in your life. If you are listening to this podcast, you are that person. You definitely want to have other people like that in your life. So I have that group, but today I had a peer coaching session with one of the other groups that I'm a part of. And the second question that came up after the who am I struggling to be, and the realization that I'm struggling to do something that I know that is being, called, and my spirit is being fulfilled in, and I'm still like, yeah, I don't feel like doing it, was the acknowledgement of work. So as soon as something feels like work to me, and I'm air quoting right now, as soon as something feels like work, I don't want to do it. And to me, work is something I have to do, right? That's the word association and the definition for me. I have to work, so I don't want to do it, right? I have a day job. I have immediate gratification from that day job and my paycheck. If I don't get a paycheck, I can't pay rent, etc. So everything else in my life, I don't want it to feel like work, right? I don't want it to be something I have to do. Am I alone on this? Or are you understanding? You're resonating. So the second question that was suggested that I dig into, that I would like to share with you, is when that resistance comes through, right? Of who we're struggling to be, whatever it is that you're struggling with when that resistance comes in, where do you feel that resistance? So when I'm thinking about who am I struggling to be, where do I feel the resistance? If the resistance is in terms of how I'm feeling about a certain aspect, challenge that aspect. Can I challenge that aspect? So for me, when it starts to feel like work, that's when I'm like, no. So how I challenge that aspect is, well, how do you make it not feel like work? What parts of creating this podcast, since we're using that example, what parts of creating this podcast feel like work? And once I dug into that, the parts that feel like work are the preparation, right? Are the thinking about the questions to ask, writing them down, creating topics, etc., etc. And what I realized through talking to my group and speaking to another member of my WISE Council, my husband, this is natural for me, right? Asking questions is natural. So take out some of that effort. So that would be the third question. Can I take out some of those things that I am resistant to let things flow naturally? Another way to ask that would be, what can I take out to let things flow naturally? So hopefully that gets you on a good journaling path, a good reflection path. Since it's just me, I like to keep things short and sweet, under 10 minutes. So yes, those are the questions I had on my heart to share. Hopefully it helps you in your self-reflection, your self-discovery process. Thanks again for being with me, and we'll see you, air quotes, see you again soon. Take care.